Hey, I'm Doug, and welcome to Doppler's Gear Garage. Yesterday, I had a chance to hang out via Zoom with my dear friend, Taj Farrant. In a moment, you're going to see an ever so slightly edited version of that hang. And in case you haven't met Taj yet, well, in a moment you will. But if you don't know, he's 14, an insanely talented guitar player. He's in the process of making his first album. He's on tour across the United States. Taj, Taj, Farrant, FARRANT.com for information about tour dates and all that stuff. And in any case, on Sunday, January 28th at the Anaheim House of Blues, I'm going to have the privilege of sitting in with Taj and his band. So if you're down in Anaheim for the NAMM show, or you're in the greater Los Angeles area, first of all, you're invited. Second of all, if you haven't seen Taj in person, or if you have, you got to come see this show. You will not regret it. In any case, let's check out this little hang time that I have with Taj. If we haven't met, again, my name is Doug, and, well, say hi to Taj. Thank you very much. Okay, we got it. All right, so tell me about this right hand. Give us that magic.
So I use a lot of alternate picking, as I said, but it's like I roll my wrist like so. So so it's like a lot of the. So you don't have to do as much movement, but it's more like you're using your fingers to pick. So yeah.
And does that also help not catching the higher string as you're moving to a lower string with alternate picking?
Yeah, it helps a lot with like string skipping because you can always go like. So it's like quick for like getting that one, like not the next string but the one above.
So to you, yeah, this kid can play. So to you, how much of your time in quote unquote getting good was spent using traditional practicing versus actually just playing and really developing the sound and the feel and the vibe as a player?
A lot of it was like so the main start of my career I was like learning how to like play my pentatonic scales. And I was just learning scales for a while and I felt like I wasn't really getting anywhere. And I knew like what to play, but I didn't know how to make it like um I didn't know how to play it, if you know what I mean. Like I knew how to play the scale, but I didn't know how to play it like just like by freestyling. So Dad used to just put on backing tracks and he wouldn't tell me the key. He'd just be like, figure out what key it's in and then solo around in some stuff. And that's kind of how I got all of my free soloing abilities kind of fast because I was only playing the backing tracks and I wasn't learning actual like theory and stuff because I was learning it while playing. So yeah.
So if you were to do it again, what sort of things might you do differently having, the experience now that you have as a professional musician kind of going, oh, I would have done this differently, if anything?
I definitely would have went for a heavier gauge strings sooner because now I'm now on tens, but I can't go up from tens, but I keep snapping tens, so I just keep. So it's either I snap a string or I go up and I can't play them as good as I can as these ones. So it's like these are really, which is that's also something I worked on a lot was my pitch for like bending. So I could be like, so you could like just snap between notes. But
Do that
it
again.
took me.
Do that again.
So it's like so you can bend between notes on a thing. It's kind of cool.
So did you practice bending the individual intervals, or did you try doing the licks, or did you do both?
Um, that's the funny thing. It kind of just came that way. It was like I wanted to have the pitch that I needed, but that's why my ear kind of kicked in. I was like, I'll just bend it up a little bit because I knew what it was supposed to sound like. So as long as I know what it's supposed to sound like, it can get to the thing. So yeah.
What is your favorite part about playing guitar?
Um, I gotta say, right now it's probably writing songs. But I mean, I just love being able to like do something that I love and get to do it for a living. So yeah,
I love that you're 14. You're like, I get to do this for a living. I think one of the things that people love about you is that, you, again, I said this to your dad last night when we were on the phone. You're an old soul. Like you have an understanding about things that is not traditional for a 14-year-old young man. But the other thing
yeah,
is, you also are on a trajectory. So you just said one of the important things that, again, your dad and I had this chat. You're making the transition from being a guitar player, where your guitar playing has been front and center, to becoming, in a more traditional way, an artist and a songwriter and the front man. So I heard a little bit about the story about how you got connected with your producer. Uh, as you look into your future, what are the most exciting things that you're doing? And in the same way, you're like, all right, I practiced my scales. I worked on the pentatonic. I spent time playing over jam tracks. As you prepare to become known for your work as an artist and as a songwriter, hopefully more than your guitar playing, what are you doing to prepare for that?
um, that's it's funny because like the writing thing come along like because we were just writing some songs at home, and then like we ended up meeting up with the producers and stuff there, and they were like, "Oh, you actually have some really cool stuff that like not a lot of that's not really being put out." Because I was doing like I do a lot of like these chords. So for one of my songs, it's called Cruise, and I do this chord, and it's like it goes like that, but then you have to get your finger to the third while holding the. So it's a yeah, and
And
then
I'm
to the
tuned down a half
third.
step, so that, hold on. Oh, you got to be kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So it's
insane,
like,
dude.
but it only like goes for a while, so it'll be like, but like when people are learning it, they just go and they play the actual. But I'm like, you have to have that ring out while you're doing the
Right, right,
down
right.
thing. And that was also one thing I did for a while. Like I wouldn't even play; I'd just sit there and like I would play a bit, but I'd put my fingers on the wall and I'd push them so I'd get a longer stretch. But now my hands are the size of like baseball gloves.
So
I can get from first to like 10. So yeah,
that's pretty amazing. All right, so bad trip.
yep,
So, a great thing about a great song is the hook. So
yes,
there's lyrical hooks and there's musical hooks. So as you're playing the hook for Bad Trip, is there a musical hook on the guitar?
no. Funnily enough, because the song is just the chords, but the hook for the musical hook is on a piano, and it kind of goes. And it kind of plays that throughout the song, and then it has the main vocal hook above that. So yeah,
And so are you, as you're coming up with the material, because you're now becoming much more focused as a multi-instrumentalist, how do you approach that as you demo up song? I take it you've got a demo rig there on the bus.
no, it's funny. I don't. I have a phone and I have voice memos, so I just track all of my stuff I like on there, and then I'm like, okay, and then once we get to the recording studio, I'm like, I have this riff, we're gonna turn it into a song. So yeah.
That's pretty darn cool. So, can you tell us a little bit about your process? Like, how do you know when you're like that one is like that one's got something special on it? Is it the way it makes you feel? Is it kind of like I think people are going to respond to this? What are your markers? How do you know?
Well, because I'm naturally a guitarist, I go for the coolest riff I can make, and even if I have a cool riff, I'll listen to it the next day, and I'm like, it didn't have the same magic as it did yesterday, so we'll just cut it. And then, but like, there's a couple of riffs I've made that I really like. I'm making a song, and the riff, it goes like this. So that's like the main hook for, that's like the chorus riff. Yeah, it's but that's also another one of them things where I leave it hanging on the thing, so it's like, and like you let that ring when you do the, so yeah.
I'm up a half step from you, so
Yeah.
I gotta have a guitar around here. So you did this little a little vibrato thing. So there are things that as guitar players, that we do that a little quirky kind of. So you did that down, 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 down. So do you do the little quirky, cool thing every time, or do you add it for seasoning, or does it depend on when you feel like adding it?
All right, I just went up a step, but it's like it's cool, but it's like. And it's funny when I actually, yeah,
and you're holding the E.
And for the second one, I go.
Crafty little guy, aren't you? So so again, the neat thing about I'm just going to say from my perspective. So I got a chance to learn a bunch of the songs that you were playing. Get a chance to play rhythm guitar for you. That was like a year ago. So the neat thing about guitar is like there's a language. How much do you enjoy the art of having somebody that when you're working with your producer be able to go, hey, here's this idea, and then there's this interaction where you get a chance to then build it like a castle out of sand, right? It becomes something bigger than it was.
Yeah. I love writing the songs. Like, I like the actual studio sessions, because like I just come in with a bare bass riff like that. And then like the bass went along with it, and then I was like, what are we gonna do for a main, like, for the verse thing? And I just come up with the most AC/DC almost riff, and it was like literally. And so I was just like, well, now we know what I'm gonna sing over. And then I was just like, all right, then now we just need lyrics and the drums, and then that's how it all come along. So yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to hear you in time. I'm not going to play the rhythm exactly right, but would you sing the verse section? Are you down with that, or are you waiting until it's veiled?
I think we might wait for the
Not a
actual
problem.
release
No,
on that one.
Just in the moment, I got a little excited. So
Yeah.
the when you're working with a producer, how do you let go of something that you fell in love with? Because all of these things, if you feel music anything like I do, hey Matt, what's going on? There's a romance about every note, right? You know, each
Yeah.
and he's like, no, turn that around a little bit, and you're like, but that's the essence of. Versus like, but that's not the riff, right? You know, let's turn this thing
Yeah.
around. How do you, when you're working with a producer who's older, more experienced, has a bazillion hit records, how do you know which battles are worth dying on the sword for, and which ones are like, he knows something, I'm gonna roll with this. Tell me when and how you do that.
Yeah, there's been a couple of coincidences where I've come up with some like riffs that I didn't really like, and I was just like, this is one. And then like we wrote the actual song for it. And I was like, it's kind of really good. So there's some things that I listen to. I always respect other people's opinions and I'll listen to them, but they if it's not completely what I was thinking, I'll be like, yeah, I still don't really like it. But there's been a lot of times where I was like, I don't really like that, but then it's turned out pretty good as well. Because on one of my first songs I released, I did a song, and it's funny, a lot of my songs are recorded in D standard, so that's like a full step down. But there was a main riff that I wrote for a song called Crossroads, and it's 4 chords the whole way through the song, and it's like, which is the main chords, and it goes. So yeah, that's kind of where that main hook come from for Crossroads, and I wrote that song in 5 minutes, which is funny.
So great point. Some of them happen like that. Some of them are like they take days, weeks until that other missing part. Do you find that has a tendency to happen with, faster tempoed songs sometimes seem to flow off a little bit? Or can you group the ones that are fast and slow, or are they just different?
Yeah, I feel like there's been a couple of songs that kind of come to me like that, but that the Crossroads riff come on while we were on tour, and we were in the bus, and I seen a Crossroads, and I was thinking of like the Robert Johnson Crossroads story, and I come up with that riff, and that's another one of them hold the thing and do something else, because I hold that chord, and then I go, and I play like a melody over the chords, so it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So again, your dad kind of we hung out on the phone for like an hour. It was supposed to be a quick call, but he gave me a bunch of the backstory about the fact that as you're going into this album, you have gathered all this life experience over the past year since we met, and so that kind of goes into being able to tell that narrative. And what's the producer's name again?
His name is Ken Lewis.
So, and for those of you, I actually hadn't heard of him, but he's produced Lady Gaga, a bazillion famous bands across a bunch of different genres, but he's also a writer. But kind of one of the things that can happen in a bad producer scenario is they write a bunch of songs, they want to get all the publishing, they want to basically get as much money as possible. But your process has been, he came and saw one of the shows, he saw you playing Parisian Walkways, as I recall. He was like, all
Yeah,
right, I got to save my ears. It's a little loud. I got to mix something tomorrow. Let's work now. So,
yeah.
and he's helped draw out your story as you look at the past year and you look at continuing to write. It seems like a strange question, but it's not. How much do you see this next album that you're doing being actually a stepping stone for the 2 or 3 albums that are going to follow that?
This is gonna be a this. I mean, it's my first album, so I got to make it really good. Um, I've had. It's funny, like when I want this album to be perfect. Like I have a lot of riffs that I have made. Like I come up with this one the other day, and it's like I have to go on a clean channel. Let me just change channels on my very cool amp. No. But like I made this riff, and I was like, I don't know if I would ever use it for the thing, but it's kind of cool. So I was like, so it's like a lot of different genres will go into the um album, but I want like the best song. I want to make the best song I can make from that genre than that genre, and put them all in an album and um send it out. So yeah,
The funny thing, that's a catchy little riff. It keeps going around my head. I'm like, holy cow, that that's pretty slick. So,
yeah.
do you try as you're coming, because first album, first of all the people that are in the chat, thank you for hanging out and watching. Just so cool. There's a very clear affection that all these lovely folks have for you, and it's great to watch. You're getting a chance to define yourself as an artist, and with these songs, and you're going to get a chance to create, if you will, a soundscape for people's lives. As you're writing songs, how much of what you do, and does it vary by song, how much of it is introspective versus kind of going, I'm creating something that people are going to live by until the next album that I come out with lives by? How much is looking in, how much of it is looking out, and how do you kind of navigate the two?
I write a lot of my songs to have like meanings, but multiple meanings. So it's like um Bad Trip. We wrote it about, so we were in a bus and it broke down and we had a very, very long night. And if you listen to the words, you can interpret it in multiple ways for um, like, well, the song's called Bad Trip, but you could have it for like, even if you lost a loved one and stuff like that. So it's kind of a multi meaning song, which is kind of what a lot of my songs have done, which is kind of cool. So everyone can interpret it in their own way.
What songs have moved you most as a songwriter that other people have done that like really just went straight there?
Um, I think like the song that I like love the most, that I would listen to 24/7, is Parisian Walkways, but like it's like his emotion with the guitar is what kind of amazed me with that song, because he was going fast, but he wasn't sounding fast, and it was like it sounded melodic, but it was quick. So it was, yeah, it was yeah, it's definitely Parisian Walkways.
Are you going to do any covers on the album?
If I can, I will probably um put something from Gary or Stevie. But you never know. It'll be something. We might even put an album out. We had an idea a couple of years back to put an album out that was like um my like I was gonna call it Heroes and just ask and like have people feature on some songs, like so I could have like all the people I look up to. So yeah, but we never really did that because then we started making this album, which I feel like is gonna be better better songs for me at least.
That's great. As you're writing a song, do you think the riff? Do you think of the vocal melody and the hook? Is there a place that you have a tendency to start with more, or is it just whatever happens, whatever drives the train?
Well, because I'm guitarist by nature, I it's always the riff has to be cool or I wouldn't write the song. But I always so where the riff that I showed you that song's called House Always Wins. So it's about like the casino and stuff like that, but it can be interpreted in different ways. But that come from another riff I wrote that I never did anything with, and the riff kind of went like this. But I never really did anything with it, so I was like, I could try and change it, and then I come up with the. And I was like, that one is a better riff, so I'll use that instead of using the other one. So yeah.
Matteo Mancuso. There's no way you exist on the internet and haven't heard Matteo play. So,
Yeah.
what do you think?
He's an awesome guitarist. It's just, I don't really see a lot of him anymore. There was a while where I used to see him on my, like, TikTok, like, every 5 seconds. I'll be like, look at him. I think one time I counted how many times I seen him, and I swear it was like 100 times in one day.
Wow.
But I love his guitar playing. It's really like fluent. It's all there. Like it's not nothing is a mistake kind of with him. So yeah.
Is it, all right. So, Sherry, let's see. There we go. Hello, Sherry. Breed love. Hang on a second. I'm going to bring you in here. There we go. This will be an overlay that Taj, you probably won't be able to see. But hang on. There we go. I'm looking for that right there. Come on. There we go. So I was at the House of Blues in Vegas watching Santana when he brought on Taj. I've been hooked and a supporter of Taj ever since then. 10 to 14 have been an amazing journey with this amazing family. So Santana, that's a bit of a mentor right there. Tell me about that relationship, both as a as a young man, kind of obviously was one of the most iconic guitar players. He played Woodstock. It's just like
Yeah.
and then there's
He's one of the. I'd say he's probably one of the last people alive from like that era, from like the Woodstock, like that.
having him as a mentor, but also kind of as a musical partner. What's that relationship like, both as a musician for you and also as somebody that is becoming a man?
Well, obviously, I love Santana and what he has done for the guitar community, but yeah, it's kind of really cool to have someone as that like higher class to like even let me hop up that night, which was kind of cool. Which was so yeah, it's kind of it's hard to like explain what it's like. It's like kind of I don't know what to say. It's kind of weird, but yeah, he's just really he's easy to talk to, which is really cool. So yeah.
That's awesome. Your show has traditionally been a lot of covers. And you get a
Yes.
chance to take your audience through this other journey of actually playing the originals. At what are you going to wait until the singles start to drop to start to integrate more and more of your own material? Is it a conscious thought of how you're going to do that changeover?
So I am doing this. I set up this thing for when the album comes out. So I'm gonna release a single every month until August, and then we drop the album, which will be the songs that we released before and a couple extras, and they'll all go on the album. And then, once one comes out, I'll take a song out of the set list and put the original in there, and I'll just keep doing that until I have all originals. And so, yeah,
Is Parisian Walkways going to stay?
Parisian Walkways is gonna stay because I have to keep that in there because I just love doing that. So yeah, and that's also where my the like bending the note to different. That's like it kind of snaps into. So I was like, so it's like you can pitch shift it almost through each note. So yeah,
Pretty darn cool. Do you
yeah,
are you as you're creating solos? Do you have a tendency, especially as you're going to the album, in a certain sense, as a player, when you play? I'm going to pull up a track here real quick. I don't have no idea if this is going to sound any good. So there are certain things that, as we're kind of coming up with the shtick, and I don't mean shtick in a bad way, but we're kind of finding where we're going to go. That we kind of go, I'm going to bookmark that. In a sense, it gives us a little bit of a roadmap of where we're going to be. But I find, at least as a player myself, sometimes I stay. Sometimes it becomes a script that, whether I like it or not, you start playing over something, and that's kind of where you start to go. As you're kind of crafting your vibe of what you're going to go for, as a fellow guitar player, I'm working on a vocal album and an instrumental album. So I'm always conscious of, there's times when you sit and ruminate on something, a part will kind of invent itself as you kind of nurse the things to, but that's a completely different process than the track played. I played something that was a complete reaction that was specifically intended to be like nothing that I'd done before. As you're working in the studio, kind of coming up the voice of how you're going to present yourself as an original artist, how much are you trying to find the balance of like, well, these are things that I've kind of nursed along that I really want to make sure are there, versus like, I want people to get the idea that it's raw and in the moment that this is a reaction. How do you work those two together?
yeah. I kind of like I have a main thing. I kind of stay in like the pentatonic with the blues extended notes, and like I occasionally use like the Dorian, but I don't like. For me, I don't really care about the like writing. I don't really write the solos. I would free solo a solo for. I just keep redoing it until I find a solo that I really like, and I'm like, okay, we'll do that, and I'll learn it, and then I'll make it perfect. So I do something along the lines of like, so for the solo for Cruise, it went So that's like that's the outro solo for Cruise, and it kind of went with it was like staying in a major over minor kind of thing. So I took that whole major over minor thing from Always With Me, Always With You, Joe Satriani. And I was like, that's where I like the kind of major over minor thing. And then I was like, well, I can try and write a solo because I know the theory, I just don't use it a lot. So I can just like think of what I want it to sound like and then play something along the lines of it.
Pretty crafty.
So yeah. Yeah.
We're coming up on an hour here, so I don't want to dig too much into your day here. And what I'm probably going to do, anybody that's watching, we'll probably take this, and since we had a little bit of an echo at the beginning, I'll probably chop this down and put it into a just a standalone video, so anybody who wants to rewatch this can. But thank you, first of all, for everybody that tuned in. First of all, thanks so much, Taj. I'm looking forward to seeing you. So the House of Blues show, how far into this current run of shows is that? How many shows have you done so far?
Well, we do a show tonight, and it will be the 5th one tonight, I think. And then the 6th is going to be... Sorry, it's the 4th one tonight, and then the 5th show will be Anaheim. So it's only early into this tour, but we did a tour last year that we finished on 2 days before New Year's Eve.
Awesome. So, first of all, where is the best place for people to kind of get the biggest download? Is this your website, or is this kind of hanging out with you on Instagram, or sorry, on Facebook, because you live stream so much?
Well, if you want to get like tickets and that, you can go to the website for that stuff. And then if you're looking for like music and stuff, it'd be on like iTunes and Spotify and stuff like that. But normally Facebook is like where we do the most of our like videos and stuff. So yeah.
All right, that's great. Going into this year, is there one goal above all others? So like that's at the top of the list of what you want to get done? And if so, what is that?
My tone. I'm still trying to find the tone. Like I've been switching between amps. So last time I played with you, I played with Friedman's, and I'm still playing the Friedman's, but I'm also using this other amp company that I'm sponsored by. Their name's Wizard. They got really good. Wizards are really good for like the clean tone that I like. And I just want to get it's hard to find a good tone for like a mix between both. Yeah, that's that's cool. Yeah, I have a 250 watts and a 25 at the moment, but I only have the 25 with me for the NAMM show because you're only allowed 25 watts on that stage.
Wait, what? At the House of Blues venue?
No, not House of Blues. I'm playing a show at NAMM.
Oh, where are you playing?
Main stage. On one of the days. What day is that? But it'll be one of the days.
Oh, that's awesome.
I play the main stage, but you're only allowed 25 watts on that stage, which seems weird, doesn't it?
That seems really weird.
It seems very low.
It seems really low, especially. All right, you know what? I love the NAMM folks, so I'm just going to I'll button my lip. So, all right. Well, first of all, I really appreciate you making time to hang out. It's going to be great to get a chance to see you, hear you, get a chance to play together. Ladies and gentlemen, Taj Farrant, thanks for making time. Everybody that I have, my name's Doug. Really appreciate your hanging out. And Taj, I will be seeing you soon. For the rest of you, I'm going to be kind of continuing on for a minute. So if you're not doing anything, hang out with me, but go to tajfarrant.com. That's the web link, correct?
Yep, that's
So
the website.
that's going to let where people can, and will you have links to all the new music as it comes out from the website when the singles drop? And
Yep.
are you pre-announcing when the singles are going to drop? So people can make a note of being able to get the pre-drop.
Yeah, we just got the finished version of Bad Trip, so we're gonna be filming a film clip at one point throughout the tour, and then we'll release the song on. Am I allowed to say the release date? Oh, we release it on February 16th. That's when we release it. So yeah. That'll be the first song off of the album.
Well, congratulations. I'm really looking forward to hearing it. And thanks again for making time. Great to see you.
Thank you for having me as well.
Pleasure was mine. And I'll be seeing you very soon. Thanks so much for checking out this video. In case we haven't met before, again, my name is Doug, and this is Doppler's Gear Garage. Every Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific, I host a live stream where I talk about guitars and amps and pedals and gear. We usually go through some sort of mode-related progression, trying to help guitar players become more creative and also get better at their craft by hopefully providing some words of inspiration to help them or you on your journey. So you're cordially invited. Hope to see you at the next Doppler's Gear Garage. But again, because I'm going to be at the Anaheim NAMM show on Saturday, January 27th, I'm not going to have a live stream that week. Look forward to maybe seeing you in the future here at Doppler's Gear Garage. Cheers.